All right, another episode of the Tricer Podcast. I'm excited today to have the boys from Gearful on the podcast. I got Brady and Forest from Gearful. How you guys doing?
It's another day. It's finally turning into spring. Sun's coming out in a real way, and leaves are turning green, so it's nice.
Yeah, when the temps hit 60 here in the spring, that's a big deal in southern Utah. It ain't sunny and 80 like down there in your region.
Yeah. You guys are in Cedar City, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So you guys kind of like I was talking to somebody else. That's a pretty sweet area to live for like a jump off point for hunting because you can kind of jump. You jump in Nevada, you can jump right into Arizona right there. You can jump over to Colorado, New Mexico. It's kind of a good little hub to for some really good hunting. I mean, within I don't know, 6 to 10 hours, you've got 4 states like at your fingertips.
Nah, you nailed it.
Definitely.
Utah in general, but then southern Utah specifically, yeah, it's a hub. It's a launching pad. So if you play the non-resident game in various states, you can pretty much reach any of those states and most species for most hunts in a day's drive. 7-8 hours. To kind of give a guesstimate there, but you're not traveling 16 hours to get from Arizona to Montana, for example.
Yeah, yeah, or San Diego to anywhere. We are in the
Yeah,
I'm
I
in
was
the
going
corner.
to throw out San Diego on that one.
Yeah, I'm starting to actually look into flying on like some of my hunts. I
Wow,
am
big.
driving I am driving to Montana for I'm going up there. I'm going to go to the Total Archery Challenge. I'm going to go do some fly fishing or I'm not spinning reel fishing with the dude from Mule Deer Foundation. Then I'm going to go over and do Total Archery Challenge, ride dirt bikes at Cody Rich, and then do Lampers. He's doing like a Western Hunting Summit. So I'm going to drive that and just kind of, but I mean, getting up there, it's like an 18-hour drive if I go straight through. So I'm just going to
Yeah,
bring the canvas cutter and just, dump off probably, maybe I'll stop by and see you guys. You're kind of a little bit out of the way I go, I guess. You guys are off the 15 though, huh? Because not off the 15, I would go past you, huh?
Yeah, we're right on 15 there.
Or you're on the 15?
Yeah,
yeah.
but you'll probably take a route a little north of us.
A little north of you, huh? To head north, yeah. So I'm going to drive up there and do that. But like I've got a antelope hunt in September. Well, I should, as long as I don't get freaking crept like every other tag that I've been applying for. And I'm just gonna fly. I'm gonna fly up to Wyoming and rent a car and go hunt them because it's like, man, it's just a drive.
I don't know. I hate flying for hunts. There's so much stuff you got to
I don't
pack,
know.
and then how are you, like, you got to ship the animal back or figure out what to do with the meat. There's so many.
I
I'm
feel
not.
like I don't know. I feel like with an antelope though, like I could bring like I have like one of those Yeti soft backpacks. I could debone an antelope into that. I could
Fly
freaking
with
yeah, fly with it. Just carry it on. Yeah, carry it on the plane with me. And I
Hey,
carry
it. Just a pickle.
dude, right off the bat, we've got some common ground. I've killed Aoudad in West Texas and flown back with the back straps
Oh
with
my
carry-on luggage. It
yeah,
was
I would
fun.
carry yeah. I've carried ducks. I've gone and done it for like up in like by Sacramento. We have some pretty good duck hunting up there on the like, like that flyway.
Yeah.
And I'll fly back with ducks. You can't bring ice, so what I'll do is like go through, and then I'll go to like whatever Panda Express, and then be like, "Hey, give me some ice," and have them and I'll fill the cooler up because you can't bring ice through. But especially like I think I'm hunting with Dylan Hyde, or I should be hunting with Dylan Hyde in Wyoming. So hopefully we can freeze it, right? If we kill an antelope, freeze it, and just put it in the backpack, and it'll be good. It's only a 4 or 5 hour flight. And one nice thing I can say, like I do get like it is hard to bring all your stuff with you, but when you limit yourself to a backpack, it's life is so much easier, right?
That is
Like
true.
like I bring like if I go hunting by myself, it's like a backpack. Like I can live for 10 days with a backpack, a tent, some, whatever peaks or mountain house, whatever. But then I go and take my father-in-law and my two boys and we go on an elk hunt. And like you can't fit another thing in the truck. Like it's stacked up and we got a rack on the back of the truck and it's just like a freaking and you're just like, how is this possible? So there's something to be said about the simplicity of flying on a hunt. But I do get driving, so I like driving. I don't mind it. It's just my goal this year is to hunt at least 2 weeks a month.
Wow. Good.
Ambitious.
So, in September will probably be a lot more because I'm going to draw. I better draw this really bitchin' elk tag in Colorado. I never killed a bull with my bow, so I'm really excited for that. And that's like a 21-day season, so I'm going to hunt that as long as I can. I'll drive to that hunt because that's one thing. Flying for an elk is like that's next level. Like getting that back's going to suck. but I'll drive for that one and then hopefully get back and then just fly up to Wyoming. You know what I mean? Because coming from San Diego, it could add another 3 days to your hunt. Because typically what I'll do is I'll drive and I'll pull off, and I don't like to stay in hotels because I just feel like tweakers are going to steal all my stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Accurate.
I mean, you guys are the gear fool, right? But I mean, you ever look at your backpack and realize that you have like 20 grand in your backpack?
Yeah, every time I hunt
Yes.
with my brother, we look at that and we talk. And when it's a slow day, yeah, we'll talk about the investment we've got lying on the ground or the mountainside beside us. It's a lot. It's a
Dude,
lot.
it's a lot. I was out last year and I actually posted a little reel or video. It was like on my story or something. And I was sitting there glassing with my kids, and I was glassing through a BTX with a pair of EO Rangers on my chest and a pair of 15 by 56 SLCs like laying next to me. And I was just like, I just want to tell my wife, like, get your nails done. I'm sorry. Like,
Get your nails done.
you know what I mean? Like, my wife would be like, hey, I just hope it's okay. I bought this shirt at Target, and I'm like, yeah, I guess it's all right. And then here comes freaking dude. Like, I have the biggest, like, especially now at Tricer, like I have the biggest problem with optics. I have so many optics. Like, it's just like it's like an obsession. Like, it's all that. I love gear, dude. That's what's cool. I'm talking to you guys. Like, I love gear. I love tents, right? Like, I love trying gear, right? I love trying different things. I do have like a system in place that I like. I don't like to change too much stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to go. I've used the same backpack for 8 years, and I'm making
Hey.
the switch.
Dang.
Yeah, and well, same brand. I've
Oh.
actually same brand. So I've used the EXO, the K2, and then I went to the K3. Yeah, it has to be like darn 2016.
Yeah.
And this year I'm switching over to the Eberly stock just for not because I don't like the EXO. I love the EXO. I just want to try something new. And my kid used it. There's some things about the mod system that I really like. So I'm just trying it out.
Have
But
you
I
used
wouldn't go.
much?
What's that?
Have you used them before? The Everly stock?
I have. My kid has one. He used it last year, and I love their like the modularity of it. I really do, and I actually really like their frame.
The main frame or
The
the
mainframe. Yeah, I really like that frame. Like, I know it seems like it's so like I don't want to say it's barbaric, but it's just like it's just a freaking frame and it just works, man. And it's just like it's nice. And I actually really like their rifle scabbard. Like, I'm in love with that. So I've been strapping that to the side of my EXO for a few seasons now, and it just doesn't fit right. I was actually going to sew it on there. And this year I was like, you know what? My kid ran it. I'm going to try it. So I bought their 5,000 vapor, and what else did I buy? I bought all kinds of crap from them. I bought their bat wings too, because the bat wings are really slick. Like today I went scouting. I did some scouting videos, and I just brought just the bat wings. You know what I mean? It's really neat to be able to kind of move this stuff around. And I thought that it was like kind of gimmicky until I started using it. And now I'm like, and this is like a really neat piece of gear. I don't know where I'm going with that. What's that?
I love their accessories, but I'd be surprised if you don't end up going back to the EXO simply for comfort. I feel like every time I've used their packs and been excited about it, it feels like they just bite in your shoulders after a few hours.
Really?
Yeah, but see what you think.
We'll see, man. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run it and try it. But my whole point with that is like I'm not gonna go and switch that up every weekend, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
I do like to try like one or two different things here and there and try gear. You know what I mean? I like to try and refine my kit. When I go on hunts, I'll typically not try 10 different things, but maybe I'll bring a different jacket for this hunt, right? Or I'll try a different piece for this hunt. I have an obsession with tents. I love tents.
That surprises me.
Yeah, that's a
What's
little bit unusual. So, what tent were you using last year? Out
Yeah.
of curiosity.
Man, I was using the Seek Silvertip for a while, and then
Okay.
I went to the Hillenberg, and I really love the Hillenberg, like the Anion.
Oh yeah.
What's the weight on that? I don't recall off the top of my head. Give
I
me
think 4 pounds all in.
4 pounds all in. Okay.
All in. Yeah, and I've got some like big Agnes stuff too. But I have the QU Mountain Star. That's a cool tent as well. But right now, my favorite tent, hands down, is that Hillenberg. It's just comfortable and it just works, man. Like I got stuck out in like San Diego, believe it or not, like opening weekend of deer. We had like 60-mile-per-hour winds, rain, like storm. And my kid and one of my best friends were in my teepee, and it just ripped open on them. You have to like teepees are like an art, and you have to really like put some time into like, especially when it's gonna be windy, put some rocks on it. Like there's things like I don't want to deal with. Like my buddy said, he wakes up and he's just getting pelted with water. And he looks over at my son, and the teepee is like up in the air, and my kid just looks at him, puts a sleep bag over his head, and rolls back in. So my buddy's out in the rain by himself, just like staking that thing back down. But the whole point with that is like I was in that Hillenberg, and it was like nothing, you know. It
No,
was just like they're just built for it,
there's a reason why Hilleberg is known as the tent maker, I think is their branding.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at some of their historical footage, like they'll legitimately stand up their tents in the development phases in like a wind tunnel or like
Yeah.
just a high volume fan, if you will, like 70-mile-an-hour sustained winds. There is some credibility to that, in my opinion.
100%.
I mean, I own a Hilleberg Nalo GT2, a
Mhm.
little heavy side, but if I'm running with my wife specifically, she wants a floored shelter or something, I'll bring it. But yeah, back to Hilleberg, they are definitely a quality tent manufacturer.
Yeah, I have the Namaj as well. Like, and that's whatever. What is their, not the black? It's like their red, right? So I have the Anion. I have is not Anion. You said Anion. I think it's Anion.
It's a sweet company. I can't pronounce those names.
I have a yellow one, 2-person that I really love. I feel like it's the Anion. And then I have the Namaj as well, and that's a 3-person, like heavy duty for like going to Alaska and stuff, right? So I'm gonna fly in. That's what I'm gonna bring. I actually packed that tent on an Oregon hunt 2 seasons ago because it was just storming and I wanted the space. And it's nice. It's not terrible. If you're splitting the weight between 2 people, a good shelter is worth it. My biggest thing with a hunting tent is I want to have a good vestibule. Like I want a place to put my gear outside of the tent, right? Like everyone gets so caught up in weight on this stuff. And it's like, dude, like, yeah, you can go get a Tiger Wall tent that weighs nothing, but as soon as you get any wind or rain, it's going to be coming in the side of that thing. You might be able to like be in a camp and have a little bit of rain, but it's just not built for hunters, right? It's not built for the situations where you're up at 12,000 foot elevation. The last thing you want to have happen is your shelter go out on you. So yeah, I do want to try that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, that can actually be life threatening. And there was a few instances last fall from, we'll just call them industry players or influencers. Yeah, they got caught in some bad circumstances in Colorado, if I recall.
I heard that podcast with him. That was pretty gnarly. Definitely gnarly. I do want to try, like, I'm not out on the teepees altogether. There's something about like, I love being able to like have like the floor of the system. I love how big they are. Dude, you get so freaking when you're sleeping out somewhere for 8 days, like you get so dirty in a teepee. Like there's no way around it. You're just gonna get dirty. You know what I mean? Like I know it's cool, but I haven't done the stove thing. So I am thinking about getting on like a Peaks teepee and trying that out as well. And
the solitude.
The Peaks teepee, getting a stove and running that. But yeah, man. So I love gear. You guys are gear fools. So tell me about Gearful. What are you guys about? When you guys spun out of Hunting Fool and you guys you're selling some awesome gear now.
Yeah, so we are our standalone entity from Hunting Fool, but we're so closely affiliated. It's almost like we're, shoulder to shoulder. We share the same building, for example. So you can't have one without the other to some extent. But as far as Gearful specifically, we got a lot of players on the team that is Hunting Full and Gearful. We spend a lot of time in the field, and we have for many years. We understand that quality gear can make or break the experience. As we get further ahead in time, where it's harder and harder to acquire tags, every moment we spend on the mountain or in pursuit with that tag truly matters. When we get older and we look back, they say when you look back on your life, you want to look and see, am I pleased with what I did when I was looking forward from age 8 or back from age 80? And if so, then you did it right. But then coming full circle again, it's gear that makes that possible. I'm sure you yourself, I know I have, Brady too, those outings where the weather rolls in or something and you didn't have something that was, I'm not saying that you have to have top tier gear to get out there, but it does help. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you know it.
Especially if you know it. Once you know it and you've been exposed to it, it's like you and your optic fetish there, Drew. You just want,
I can say I always go back to Swarovski. I can.
Oh wow! Surprise,
I
surprise.
I know
have
I think, but I try it all now. I have a ton of stuff, so I actually, I like to try them. But yeah, no, that's awesome. So you guys are getting gear, and you're doing gear specifically for hunters, right? So, but not necessarily only hunting gear. Like it could be gear from the outdoor space that ties into hunting. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct. There's a lot of crossover gear, right, between call it
Mhm.
the backcountry hunting community or even just the general hunting community that crosses over with the backpacking culture, like
Mhm.
general recreation backpacking. I mean, yeah, they have some like uber light equipment on that side, but it won't hold up for us. But on the opposite, flip that. If people that are into backpacking and they care about like durability and robustness and quality and craftsmanship, in all honesty, they should look to the backcountry hunters because I mean we'll put 110 pounds or more on those type frames from time to time.
Yeah.
And when the weather gets bad, we're not pulling out. We're not, you know, bound for the trailhead, for example. We're going to stick it out and wait for the clearing in the weather because often that's prime time. So we try to be respectful of both sides, certainly.
Yeah, and we sell headlamps and peak meals
Yeah,
and all the stuff that like
you
people
know,
come in here all the
peak
time.
refuel meals, Jet Boil,
Right.
Platypus. I mean, the main staple brands in the space that is backpacking. Like I said, it crosses over.
Yeah, for sure. And the good stuff really does make the difference, right? I always talk about like you have ultralight backpackers, right? And they're trying to get down to like whatever 20 pounds. We run some of the lightest gear out there for hunting, but there's no way to cut it. We're going in at 50 pounds no matter what. More than likely 60. Like there's just no way to get around it when you throw a bow or a rifle, optics, kill kits. A lot of times we're bringing in, especially for me where I hunt, I'm bringing in, 3 gallons of water. I have 25 pounds of water on my back sometimes just to kind of, make it through a few days.
Yeah, down there in the Southwest.
Yeah, yeah, man. We pack water and store water up here a lot in San Diego. But yeah, so the light gear, it is very important to us because no matter how we cut it, like you're going to be carrying a rifle and you're going to have ammo and you're going to have,
Yeah,
binoculars and
we're gonna have
tripods and all that stuff.
a weight is just part of the game for us.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean that we don't scrutinize it. Ounces matter. Everyone knows that. But
yeah,
sometimes you shed weight in areas where you shouldn't. So
yeah,
it's a game of balance, I suppose.
yeah. That's kind of like where I was going with that tent thing. Is like I've kind of just come to a point. Like there's certain things like my sleep system where I would rather be comfortable than ultralight on certain things. You know what I
Uh,
mean? Like even my pad now, like I do I've
yeah.
ran the same Xtherm forever. I do want to cut it open when it finally pops. I want to cut it open because I blow inside of it. I don't do the whole bag thing. Like it's got to be so disgusting inside of it. This thing just it hasn't popped. Like it's like the best that Thermarest Xtherm pad. Maybe I just have a special one. Is just the best thing I've ever owned. Hundreds of nights on it. Never had a hole. And I do have like their yellow one, but I switched over to like a 4-inch thick Big Agnes this year that is like a square one, and it's just so comfortable for sleeping in. And it's just
That's
nice. And I bought one of those little, like Remy Warren was talking about those little pumps, that I thought were like a bit for gear. And then
mhm.
like once you use one of those little pumps and you can like blow your pad up and you're not like sucking wind, especially at elevation, it's pretty awesome. So I carry that heavier pad now, a nice tent. I do use a really light quilt. I use in the light equipment quilts, the lighter stuff. But yeah, you just got to kind of figure out what works for you. And I like what you said, like know your gear as well too. Like you definitely don't like I definitely don't want to go start running this Everly stock and then get an elk down and not know how to tie an elk to it. Like it's
Yeah.
like so many guys get out there and they've never used their pack, to like that's the thing with my EXO. Like I'm not like, oh, I'm a killer, but I don't even know how many animals I've packed on my EXO. Tons of them. Like I know the system to do it. So like using a new pack, like, I really need to kind of figure it out before I go. Like, how does this work? And, watch the videos and figure it out because you don't want to go out there and get caught, not knowing how to use something.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think the one most people make the mistake on is tents. At least from what I've seen, like there's so many times that I'll be with someone or myself have a brand new tent. You're like, all right, we'll set this up before we go, and it's scramble before you leave, and you get there and it's dark and you're sitting there like, all right, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Not cool.
No, I agree with you 100%, Drew, especially with the expansion of a meat shelf for a given pack, especially if it's a pack where all the webbing, straps, and buckles and fabric are all jet black. And so
Yeah.
by the time you get done breaking down an animal, it's the dead of night.
Yep.
And it's like, well, shoot, if I have to detach this buckle, where the heck does this strap go, and vice versa? Preparation beforehand, even with a pack you've used for years before, shoot, breaking it out in the summer before the opening day or the opening trip, it can make the difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're fatigued. You know that. You get fatigued. It's day X on a hunt, and you got to try and figure out a meat shelf. Sometimes your mind isn't firing on all cylinders. And it's the end result is your brother making fun of you because you're riding cattywampus on the trail back to the truck.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, there's no talk about being fatigued. Like, there's no amount of training I'm convinced that can kind of prepare you for what we do. I mean, it's just you get into the latter days of a hunt, especially like an elk hunt where they just live in hell and you're just pounding ridges and going hard. You kill an elk and takes you 2 or 3 hours just to process. You're exhausted by the time you process the thing. Let alone put it on your pack and carry it out.
Especially if it's solo, trying to flip it to the alternate side.
Oh my gosh, dude! You know the trick I do is trekking poles, and so I'll X the trekking poles to hold the leg up. Even when I'm with someone, I'll do that. So like just holding up that hind quarter so get the trekking poles underneath it. But yeah, they always seem to die like on a hill where you try and flip them and then they just don't flip right. And flipping an elk sucks. It does suck. They're so heavy.
Yeah, it seems like they always die on a slope, at least for my family anyway.
Yeah.
It's very rarely on the flat land where you can just work it freely.
I don't think I've ever seen an elk dead on something flat.
That's part of the fun, though.
I killed my first bull right next to a drinker. I was able to drive up to it. And we put it into a truck. And we hunted, it was only elk I saw until day 6. I didn't see a cow, see nothing. I hunted like one of the limited units over in Arizona. And and it was literally the only elk I saw. And some old dudes like rolled by road hunting and like looked over at us and then drove by. We sat at ground blind. It was the last night. We were exhausted. We were just at ground blind, whatever, and all of a sudden this bull like manifested out of nowhere and I killed it. And they came back and it turns out, I mean, they were just ecstatic. I mean, these were, when I say old guys, we're talking this is like a elk camp that they have like a trailer they've been going to for like 40 years, like 10 old dudes. They were so excited we killed a bull. So they let me throw it in my truck and we drove to their house and they winched it up into a tree with a winch. We got it was freaking, you couldn't have asked for like a better situation for killing your first bull, They had a sawzall, they had the whole nine,
No, it don't always work out that way.
No, never. I haven't had one since like that at all. I've killed a few. But so Gearful, you guys are your own entity over there in Cedar City. When do you guys start up?
We launched our website Halloween of 2022. So we're about in the realm of a year and a half running now.
Okay. And what do you guys sell? You guys sell optics? You sell some bitchin' tripods. I know that.
Oh yeah. No, we pretty much sell everything minus weapons currently. We do have an FFL through the relationship with Hunt and Fool, but we haven't grown into that capacity just yet. But whether it's backpacks, footwear, clothing, I mean, you name it. If you're even remotely into the hunting industry, or the backcountry specifically, that's the gear that we carry, and we're always looking to expand too.
And I think something to mention too is that we try to carry gear. Well, we try to hit price point as well, but primarily we try and carry gear that we've used and believe in. So, obviously we haven't used everything in the store, but you can kind of tell after you've done enough stuff with enough equipment what's going to hold up, what's not, etc.
Yeah, true.
We try not to have junk on our website. We try to keep it fairly streamlined and.
Yeah, we are respectful of one's budget because you shouldn't go into debt necessarily to go hunting. But if the budget suits, then there's options to be had, quality standards and the like.
And you said one thing I liked. You guys said you try and keep it like 2 or 3 brands for each kind of category.
We try to, yeah, just for the sake of simplicity and authenticity. In all honesty,
Yeah, I like that.
take a given subcategory of gear. There's probably three brands that would round it out, pretty
Yeah,
thoroughly. Yeah, you could go all the way down a rabbit hole and get 12 brands deep into a subcategory of gear, but at the end of the day, it would be very difficult for us to use all that gear, one, and then secondly, to actually be able to speak to it thereafter, it wouldn't even be feasible.
totally.
So when we get calls for dudes like from Hunting Full and Hunting Full Adventures, and they're going on whatever dream hunt they've been waiting on so long for, or even if it's just a routine annual hunt, in this capacity of offering three brands per subcategory, we can honestly say, look, A, we've used this and it's going to serve you well when you get in the field this fall.
Gotcha. I like that. What are you guys doing for boots? Curious.
We currently have Crispy, Hanwag, and Kenetrek is what we're running with currently.
Okay. Okay. I tried the Hanwags. They kind of didn't fit my foot right. I got the Kenetrex, and I'm in love.
Really?
I love the Kenetrex. Yeah, I love I don't know what it was. The Hanwags were a little tight on my foot. People love them. Like I don't know what it like. I don't know. The toe box is a little tight, but I ended up going to the Mountain Extremes, the 400s,
Mhm.
and then I got the hard scrabbles, non-insulateds, and I almost wish I would have got non-insulated Mountain Extremes because I just love the Mountain Extremes so much.
Hey, we sell them. You can get them.
You can get them. Yeah, I feel like those Mountain Extremes really because I have issues with like I'll get like heel lift, and I feel like in the Mountain Extremes I don't get that, especially side hilling, and I mean that's where you really anyone can wear boots on it on the flats and wear them around. But like when you start side hilling and start going up freaking picking up 1,000-foot elevation going up a hill that's not a trail, it's just that's when you really start to feel it. And I love both pairs of boots, and honestly, I bought some just like cheap inserts off Amazon this year for like $40, and I
Yeah.
had no foot problems running those things. And that was like a game changer for me.
Oh, that's a big win.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
big one.
I've got the Kenetrek Mountain Extremes non-insulated. I've had them for a long time now. Even though they're non-insulated, I don't like wearing them in the early season because they're a little heavier than
They're heavy.
my preference being a lot of Crispies.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when it chills off, yeah, I'll roll with that Kenetrek Mountain Extreme, non-insulated, even when most people would kind of
Mm-hmm.
get in the realm of a 200, 400 gram thin slit option. It
Yeah,
just works for me, but they're a quality boot for sure.
yeah, they're awesome. What Krispies are you running?
I've got the Brickstall Mountains from last year, and then I'm a big fan of the Laponias. I have yet to get
Laponias.
my foot into the Laponia 3 this year, though.
Yeah, it seems like everyone loves that Laponia. I need to try it out. I know that the gritty guys are super into that crispy Laponia.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of the following came thereafter. But if you get your foot in it and it feels right on moment one, it's probably going to feel right, every day thereafter. It's a it's a light and fast boot. There's no other way around it. And with this new variant, they came out with a more aggressive tread pattern. It's going to be a good product, man.
Yeah, Brad Hunt was on, and he was telling me he wore through like 3 pairs of those last season.
Yeah,
Because that's how many hundreds of miles those guys hike. It's crazy.
In what capacity? Like the tread or blew
Tread,
out the
blue,
side?
the tread. Yeah, he just bore. I mean, but he putting on 400 miles. You know what I mean? Just hundreds of miles on those boots because he's hiked so much.
And it's like you said, it's not flatland. It's all,
No, he loves them. He loves those boots. Yeah. So
But the new ones should hold up better, right? That was their
yeah, it's got the Mega Grip
Full
outsole. They outsold that Crispy worked hand in hand with Vibram to produce. It's probably the most common outsole they have on other models, but yeah, they tied it into the Crispy Laponia 3 this year.
really, might have to check him out. Like right now, the thing is like you said, things that work, right? So like my hard scrabbles and my Mountain Extremes work. So it's like I'm afraid to make that switch because finding a good boot, like I tried the Schnees out and didn't have the greatest experience. The great boots just wasn't for me. And then
Sure.
I ran I tried a synthetic boot. I went to synthetic Scarpas and I wanted to love them, but I just didn't. I really like a leather boot. I like a little bit stiffer boot. Something kind of, especially some of the places I go, I need a stiffer boot. I tend to roll my ankles a little bit, especially when I get tired. Especially if you have an elk on your back or a lot of weight on your back shifting. It's just I really feel like there's something about those Kenetreks that just I know they're $400 or $500, but it's like, man, you're going to be using those more than any piece of gear in your pack. That's for sure. Your boots are, you're going to run those things more than any tripod or optic or rifle, especially the rifle. I mean, I don't know. Have you guys seen what I'm doing this year for rifle?
All your 30-06 posts?
Yeah. So I'm going to I got a Browning 30-06 Woodstock. I got it right here. Hold on.
Dude, I have not seen this.
No?
He has my attention.
So I had a few bad experiences last year with some like quote unquote long range hunters that were just slinging lead and just no shooting where they shouldn't be shooting, missing. If they would have hit it, they probably couldn't have got down to it. Right, shooting over us. We were down in this canyon, guys shooting off the top of the ridge, going back to the truck for more ammo. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to get a Woodstock 30-06. I got to get a Brownings that they had a left-handed one for me. It's hard to find a Woodstock anymore. Most people don't have Woodstocks, really especially left-handed. And I'm going to shoot a 30-06 for every animal this year. So antelope, hopefully not elk. Hopefully I'm shooting bow for an elk. I'm bringing it to Mexico for Q's deer, locally for deer. And I'm just going to do that because I feel like people get so caught up on the rifle and all these calibers. 30-06 is a great caliber, man. It's a 500-yard gun all day long with modern day ammo and hand loading and doing it. And I don't think you really have much business shooting past that. It's kind of like my personal pet peeve. Like I have the guns that can, and I'm capable. I'll go shoot 1,200 yards all day long and go do that stuff and have fun. But in real world hunting situations, I feel like once you get past that quarter mile mark, that 420 yards, 400 yards, things really start getting a little Western. And so that's why I decided to shoot a 30-06 this year for every animal.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables present at shooting long distance. It's certainly not for everyone. I think it's on a personal choosing. But you go into a 30-06 in a wood grain stock and left-handed, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, honestly,
and I want to see the Instagram posts for sure.
Honestly, take a look. So part of it behind it as well with going Woodstock was I feel like everyone is shooting these big, crazy rifles now, these PRCs and these chassis rifles. It's almost not even, it doesn't catch your eye anymore. Go check out my Instagram right now on this Woodstock. I've got like 50 comments on it from last night on this Woodstock 30-06. It's funny because this is more taboo than the MDT chassis rifle now, right? Because everyone's shooting the chassis rifle. So it actually gets more popularity than the other one. So I was like, man, it'll look really good in the pictures too, is just having a Woodstock rifle on our tripods versus a, crazy stock. And I'm building a nasty freaking PRS rifle right now. A 6-dasher. I've got the crazy whacked out stock coming, it's going to weigh 15, 20 pounds. I'm going to start building PRS tripods, full disclosure, everybody. I'm going into it head first. But yeah, man, I just said, I'm gonna get 30-06 and I'll probably get this thing shooting 3/4 groups. I'm hoping, and that's more than adequate out to 400 yards for me.
What kind of glass are you gonna throw on that? Are you looking at like a 3-9, or what are you gonna run?
No, I went with the Maven RS1. It's like the 2.5 to 16, I think.
Oh, you're gonna have a full range of magnification there. Okay.
Yeah, I like low power scopes, honestly. So I like being in that that 3 range. You're never gonna see me get like a 6 to 24 on my gun. So that the RS1 really kind of checks those boxes. A little heavier. I think it's like 22 ounces. It's not terrible. And it's, like I said, 2.5 to I think 15. Might be 18. I'll Google this right now. We're talking. I don't want to throw Maven on the bus on something. But yeah.
You get at 30-06 with turrets, or what's your expectation there? Likely not, I suppose.
No, it'll have turrets.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it'll have a turret on there. I want to be ethical about it. It's 2.5 to 15. Yeah, I don't see an issue with having turrets on it. Definitely,
it achieves greater accuracy. I don't see any issue with that.
Yeah, I don't see an issue. I don't want to like do it and be like, I'm going to hold over because that's what Jack O'Connor did. Right. You know what I mean? Like I'm still going to have turrets on it. I'm still going to do my best to load a good round for it. Right. I'm going to shoot 175 grain not ELDX. I'm sorry. I'm going to shoot 175 grain LRXs out of it. The Barnes bullets, the copper bullets.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you have to shoot that copper, don't you?
Yeah, we have to shoot it in California. And honestly, I just like it. It works. For for me, I want a heavy. I'm a heavy for caliber guy. I don't like light for caliber bullets. I know everyone's in this like really light, fast kind of thing right now, especially with the copper. A lot of guys are going for let's shoot a 140 grain bullet out of our Win Mag at going 3,400 feet per second. For me, I'd rather shoot it. There's something you said about kinetic energy that everyone's missing now. Everyone wants to know about like velocity of expansion.
Hmm.
I like it heavier for caliber bullet. It's just you get those BCs, like, you retain energy down range. Something about hitting an elk with 1,500 pounds of energy. I'd rather hit an elk with 1,500 pounds of energy than 2,200 foot of speed.
Yeah,
I know.
You gotta hit that sweet spot of velocity and mass, I suppose, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking that I can get these LRXs out of this gun around 2,800, which for me is going to give me 1,500 pounds of energy out to like 500 yards, which I don't want to shoot that far anyways. So yeah, it'll be great. Hopefully I'm not kicking myself when I got a coos deer, record coos deer at 600 yards in Mexico.
You're gonna
But
come up on it where you've got a 2,000 foot descent between you and a 2,000 foot ascent on the other side, and your current range to target is 675 or whatever it comes to be, right?
yeah, and I have the guns to do it, right? I don't know, man. It's like if I can't kill it with a 30-06, and I probably shouldn't have killed it. And that's my thing, right? And I kind of want to make that point. Like, and I feel like the gun really is, I don't want to say it's the least important part. It's probably the most popular part of our kits, right? People, especially for new hunters, they love rifles, right? They want to know what caliber to shoot, what gun to shoot, and they go all in on their rifle. And odds are there's a 30% chance you're going to use that rifle, right? Because it's maybe 30% success rate in your unit. And you're probably going to pull the trigger once, I hope, but maybe 4 or 5 times. Who knows? So it's just, I don't know, man. I just something I want to do this year, and I think I can do it. I mean, if I can kill someone with a bow, I can kill someone with a 30-06. You know what I mean? And I don't know why it's become this like taboo cartridge, because it really isn't. It's very practical and does everything it needs to do. Especially for if you want to, whatever, a 300 PRC, which is a bitching cartridge. I'm going to build one of those up as well. You're going to have the same velocities at maybe 700 or 800 yards as you have that 30-06 at 400 or 500 yards. And I guarantee if you talk to most of these guys who are killing a lot of stuff, the majority of animals they're killing are going to be between 200 and 400 yards. I know for me it is, and I know a lot of times when you have an animal at 700 yards, like as close as I could get, that's probably not true. You probably could get closer, and there's something sporting about it for me getting closer, and trying to get in on the animal and get in there and do it and not descend, A lot can go wrong, man. These turrets are pretty bitching, right? And stray lock's bitching, and it's got it's where you can pretty much always get your elevation right. It's the wind that gets you. You get guys out there, and I take them out to the desert and be like, hey, shoot that deer at 600 yards. I have deer targets, and they're neck shooting it and gut shooting it. The elevation's there. It's like going and shooting. Like I just shot a 3D match this weekend. Yeah, I could shoot 80 yards, 90 yards with my bow, but a lot can go wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
A lot can go wrong, especially on a moving animal or, with wind and in a mountain situation. A lot can go wrong,
Yeah, there's no denying that. Man, honestly, when my brother hears this podcast, when trad archery was picking up some steam a couple of years back, he's like, dude, we got to get into trad lever action rifles. And
yeah, dude.
Whoa. Pump the brakes, younger brother. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, dude, let's get a lever action 30-30 open sight and let's wear flannel and Wrangler blue jeans. And I'm like, dude, I just bought all this prime gear. Like, I want to use this gear, But at the same time, every time season comes around, I look back with my brother and I'm like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool,
Dude, it'd be fun.
It'd be a challenge.
I'm not sure about the flannel and jeans.
I got something for you guys on that, but yeah, no, I've been joking around that I'm a trad. It's funny that 30-06 is like is equated to a flannel and jeans now, right? But I'm a trad rifle hunter now, right, with my rifle. But dude, why not? I think Ben Dinamati is going to shoot his grandpa's 270 this year, Woodstock 270. I mean, there's no reason why you can't, especially
actually, I've got grandma's Woodstock 270 in my. We'll just say I have it,
Mm-hmm.
So. No, I don't know. There's a lot to be said there, actually. I always look at it as, well, shoot, if I roll out with that 30-30, then I'm going to see something I want to, pursue, and maybe I'll have them at 250 or 350 on the yardage and shoot. I wish I had in my hand.
The 30-30 is a tough one for me because, here's one thing with 3030 is like that's a phenomenal gun for the East Coast, right? And being in, tree sub 100 yards, that's where that gun really cut his teeth and did awesome, right? I feel like out here it would be more era correct to shoot a 270 or a 30-06 or even a 300 Win Mag, right? But I think a 270 or 30-06 would be more correct for that, for being out west, right? I think
you could argue that. Yeah, it's going to go. We're looking at black and white photographs from whatever family legacy, right? If that picture of grandpa or great grandpa had lever action,
yep,
he just hopped off the D9 dozer from pulling logs, then yeah, a family's going to want to roll 30-30
Yep.
lever action. Or to your point, maybe it is one of those early Weatherbees in a 270 chamber or something. It could be anything. That's just it's fun to think along those lines because those custom long range rifles, they've been out for a minute. They're still impressive. Don't let me water that down, but they've been out for a minute.
I don't know. I feel like the long range rifle game comes alongside the trophy pursuit game.
Yeah, like if you see that big bull, you want every chance you can get to get out. Yeah.
But that's why guys are buying these long range rifles, is because they don't want to miss that opportunity. And in my opinion, there's a lot of fun that is wasted in that pursuit. And sure, there's advantages if that's the game you're trying to play, go for it. But I think it's like I'd rather shoot a smaller animal at closer range just because it's more fun to get there. Unless you are on a true dream hunt, if you're just hunting to, as a hobby.
Yeah, so it's all based on the person, right? What's minimum success criteria? Are you in it for the experience that is, stepping foot from the trailhead to getting back to the tailgate, or is it truly downing a trophy class animal? It's up to the individual.
But does the rifle really determine that? I guess you want to have the best tools. You want to have the best tools available, right? You want the best tools available to you. But I mean, half those. I mean, man, it's like the side. I wear Kuiu. I have everyone's gear. It's like the side by side full of 4 dudes wearing Kuiu, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you've got the Gunworks rifle, but if you don't get off the trail, like, what does it matter, right?
Yeah.
But gear is fun. I mean, that's the thing, right? Gear. I love gear. I'm always, like I said, I'm always tweaking the system and trying stuff out. But that's my whole thing with this year. So on the so one thing with Tricer is, like, I don't know if you've seen it. We have this like Tricer camo pattern coming out it's going to be for our tripod cases for the JC. It's like a really bitchin', like, kind of like I like bringing like a SoCal, like, I don't know if you notice like our stuff, like we try and bring like a SoCal surfer feel to our designs, and we kind of like make hunting a little more modern, right? We don't want to have just like a deer skull on our stuff. So, dude, I was joking around with my partners. I'm like, dude, it would be sick if we made like modern day hunting clothes with the flannel pattern. So, like, why not have like the bitchin' synthetic jacket, but in the red flannel? Like, why does that have to be flannel? Like, dude, like that's, I don't know how popular it would be if it would take off or not, but like, I don't know if someone would probably take the idea now and run with it, but why not, dude?
Cat's out of the bag now, Drew.
Cat's out of the bag, but like, I don't want to get into like the clothing industry, but like, dude, like if I was Stone Glacier, I'd drop a line of freaking just like a one run of some red flannel jackets, or it'd be kind of slick. I'd be stoked to run one.
Get away with it.
Stone could probably pull that off, especially if it was like true hunt clothing. I mean, they just launched their everyday line, which isn't necessarily intended to be used for call it hunting, so much as it is here in the office, in all honesty.
Right.
But if there was a brand out there that could pull it off, Stone could probably do that.
I think I'm gonna have him on the podcast. One of those guys lie out there. So I'm gonna throw that at him. Like, dude, make me a red flannel, but like in like a synthetic, like modern hunting jacket. Like, why not? Like, you could. It'd be hard to do. Be kind of cool. Wear that thing around. I don't really wear any camo at all, honestly, because I have like my closet is so mudded up. Like I've got Stone, I've got Kuiu, I've got Sitka, I've got First Light. I mean, there's just like all kinds of stuff. So and it's all in like greens and browns. So that way I can just kind of interchange between them. I was joking. We were at an archer shoot this weekend. I think I had 4 different brands on, just walking around.
There's nothing wrong with that, honestly.
We did a whole podcast on that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I like the solids because you can kind of interchange. There's certain things I like from First Light that I don't like. I think that's something that gets people in trouble when you're like, I'm a First Light guy. Okay. Yeah. I'm a Stone Glacier guy. Okay. You don't have to be. Just because the guy you're following online who's sponsored by him, which I'm not knocking it is, doesn't mean
Yeah,
you have to use all that stuff. Because I'm telling you right now, like, dude, like I love the Kuiu zip off base layers. I really do.
I haven't
Right?
tried those ones.
Those
Yeah,
are great.
Dude, in their synthetic, whatever their synthetic line is, like I've had to say I have 3 pairs of them and I've had them for 5 seasons now. I've never bought new base layers. Like I've just used these things forever. Whatever, it's not their merino, whatever they call their stuff, Peloton or something. I don't know. Peloton's the bike thing. I don't know what they call it. Maybe it's a Peloton. I don't know what they call it. Whatever. It's their synthetic line. Like I love those, right? And then like I was running this is a Zion pants, the Prana Zion pants forever. And then
yeah.
now like I'm super in love with the Stone Glacier pants,
Oh,
right?
which one?
I don't know, ones with a zipper on the side of them.
Like the
Probably
midweight one or the high
Both.
low drag.
Both. I have their lightweight one and then I have their cold weather one. And the cold weather one, I swear I could run that pant. You don't feel like you have a pant on, and I don't have to wear any base layers with it. And I don't heat up.
Yeah, the De Havilland.
The Haviland, that's the pant. Yeah.
And I don't wear any base layers beneath
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
to
That
straight up 0 and single digits at least.
dude, that pant is rad. And you can wear it in 60 degrees or you can wear it in I'm not throwing it on for that hunt, but or you can wear it when it's freaking 10 degrees and you almost never have to wear base layers and you can unzip it. Like, dude, that pant, it's a good pant because everyone else is coming out with pants that look like it now.
Exactly. They got that extended length zipper, and then they got that stratum layering system with the zipper too. So like if you have an M5 rain gear or a rain pant on, and you can kind of you can dump heat through multiple layers of pants is what I'm getting
Really?
at.
Really?
That's
I
a
don't have any other rain gear. I have that. And I have one of their a few of their jackets as well that I really like. But man, that pant though, it's just I have to zip them up because all the time I'm getting content. And I'm showing a bunch of skin. You know what I mean? You got that pant zipped down. You got you're
Yeah,
showing some skin.
It's 80 degrees where you are right now.
Yeah, yeah. I have their thin one as well. Yeah, I hunted with Paul when I first got those Havilands. We hunted up in Oregon together, and it was cold. But you'd be hiking, and you'd be sweating, so I'd unzip them, and he'd be like, "That's not fair. Knock it. You can't." I'm like, "Dude, gotta buy the pants, bro." Like those
Yeah,
pants are awesome.
too. Shoot. Everyone a lot of guys in the office have the De Havillands, the De Havilland lights, and the 206s, and I don't think anyone on the team has torn anything.
Oh gosh, no.
I will say that I'm a huge fan of Stone Pants. They are a little bit on the noisy side.
They are.
Perhaps that's because of their nylon composition. I won't go with my lab coat on at the moment, but they are a little bit noisier. But I mean, the last 3 bulls I killed, the last 3 were all sub 20 yards and bow in hand, and that didn't make a difference. And that was in a hunt solid color too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So you were where?
Situations it might matter, but in most, I would argue it probably doesn't matter.
Are you wearing solid uppers when you're bow hunting as well?
I am, yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's my thing this year. I'll probably be wearing. I don't really have any camo, and I've never archery hunted elk. I've really never really been into archery hunting because I've just never had time because I've been running my other business, and now I'm shooting my bow every day. I'm gonna go hunt. I'm gonna bow hunt a lot this year. I'm gonna go hunt the Sierras in August. California's got a season. You guys should be. I know you guys probably know that from Hunting Full, but we can start hunting in July out here. So I'm gonna go do an August Sierras hunt, and then I've got that archery hunt over there in Arizona, or not Arizona, in Colorado. But I'm not gonna wear camo. I mean, I don't really think it's necessary. I've never seen an elk that was camouflage, so I've been around them enough. I've hunted them a lot, just never with a bow.
Usually, elk attract other elk in some extent. I don't know. There's a huge shift in the industry towards hunt solids. Being who we are, talking to the brands more closely. Yeah, there's a big shift towards hunt solids, getting away from being so dominant with the camo patterns. The reason being is the technical clothing is expensive. It works. It can make the difference on a hunt. There's no doubt about it. But then when that hunt's over, maybe you don't want to wear camo in the office or around town or to church on Sunday. Running with solids gives you a lot of flexibility 365 all year long.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, like I said, I like to be able to interchange them too. And I feel like once you get, I don't care. I have, like I said, I have stuff that's 8 years old that I really like. But when you're wearing, let's say you've got Kuyu's 4 patterns to go pattern on, You kind of get pigeonholed into it. Like there's just like, and I get why these industry, I'm not knocking other brands, but like, I get why they change their patterns up. Right. Cause then you're like, oh man, I have to have the new pattern. You kind of like, you start seeing that, it makes you want to do it. But when you go solid, I mean, you could rock the same solid thing, for a long time. You know what? A brand I run too, like I do a lot of Amazon stuff, is Mary Wool. Like you can get some good merino. It's called Mary Wool on Amazon. You can get a good like 250 Mary Wool like long sleeve shirt for $75. You don't necessarily have to buy like the top tier stuff for the hunting stuff.
Well, that's what we've mentioned on some of our. We've done a couple videos on YouTube that are like, if you had $1,000, what Sitka would you buy, for example? That one gained a lot of traction, and I think it's indicative of how many people are budget conscious when they're purchasing equipment and gear. And one of the things I said in that was like, man, if you can't afford this certain base layer, like go to your thrift store and pick up a fleece. It won't work as well, but it's still adequate. And, just work on that kit one piece at a time. You don't need to get the top of the line.
Dude, you go on freaking eBay. The Prana Zions are phenomenal pants. Like I love it. I have 4 or 5 pairs of them. I still wear them. I still pull them out all the time and wear them, especially locally. You run those in the base layer, you're solid, you're good to go. Kuehl makes some good pants as well. But you can go on eBay and find all these things for like $30. You don't have to buy it new. Like there's so much gear where you get so caught up in like, even like my tents, like I'll buy them used on like Backcountry Hunters and Gear. That's an awesome forum on Facebook called Backcountry Hunters and Gear, and you post your gear up and I'll buy stuff on there. You don't have to buy new stuff.
What was that? Backcountry Hunters and Gear?
Backcountry Hunters and Gear.
Okay.
It's sick, dude. And people like you can go out, you can get some good deals. Like I got my one Hillenberg, I think, for $400.
Nice.
So I think I bought a Seek Outside on there for like $200 too. So it's hard to like, I love tents, but it's like hard to justify.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Spending that kind of money on tents. Like I did buy the one Hillenberg brand new. We were going to Alaska. I was all excited about all this gear, and then our hunt got canceled. So,
well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, total bummer. We were in one of the closure units, so they kept our money and never gave it back to us, and basically don't return our emails now. So,
the caribou
hunt, dude. Yeah. So, yeah, we were gonna fly out of Kotzebue. I don't want to go into the outfitter's name, but we asked them. We're like, hey, it sounds like there's gonna be closures. Like, no, it's never happened. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It never happens. And we all sent them like $2,000 a piece, and the closures happened. And they're like, oh no, act of God. We need our money back. No, act of God. So basically we're on perpetual hunt every year for the rest of our lives. But it's probably never going to open up again.
That was Biden.
What's that?
Yeah, I said that wasn't God. That was Biden.
Yeah, dude, it's frustrating on that one. And it's like, you're trying to get a hold of them. You're like, can't we do something else? Like, can we do black bear? Can we do another unit? Right? Can we go anywhere else? And they just won't even, they're like, no, you're out, So we basically lost our money. My one buddy, there was 4 of us. My one buddy did it on a credit card, and he canceled his credit card and got his money back. Nice. And we did it by check. Because like, well, I don't want to lose. Because if you do it by check, you don't lose like 4% or something like that. If you credit card, you lose like 4%. And man, I wish I would did credit card now, because I thought like, oh, they'll work with us. And it's like, no, man, they've just been, and they're a reputable. I mean, you go on Rock Slide, or we did a lot of research. Like you don't go to freaking the North Pole without finding a good reputable outfitter, and they're a reputable outfitter, and have freaking just like ghosted us now.
Hey man, it's hard to make a living in Kotzebue. There ain't much to do there. I've been here, walked around town.
Dude, I don't know. It's a bummer, man. And like, I'm just like, dude, seriously? Like, I don't know. Whatever. I guess it is what it is. I feel bad for them, right? Like they got screwed. Like they got fleeced, and now they can't make money, but they definitely took our money and definitely are not going to do anything about trying to find us a hunt at all. And to call it an act of God and never even let us go hunting is kind of lame. I don't know how to put
it. That's lame. There's no way around it. That's a bummer.
Yeah, it wasn't an act of God. It was freaking just, like you said, Biden, whatever. I don't think it was Biden though, but it just sucks. I can blame Biden for everything, I guess.
You sparked my curiosity when you said hunting in California. What do you know? What's your experience with black bear there? There's some big ones rolling around the Sierras.
There's some really big ones rolling around. I've never killed a black bear because I've never had time to put focus on them. I'll definitely have a black bear tag in my pocket on that hunt. When I hunted the Sierras last time in the same unit, I had a monster black bear the night before season. Like
Okay.
day before season, right in front of me. 100 yards, could have killed him for an hour. Not maybe not an hour, but 15, 20 minutes. We could have killed this bear. We obviously didn't do it. It was one of those like devil on your shoulder things, You're like, oh, I cannot believe this is tomorrow's the season. You know what I mean? But we didn't let him walk. Never saw him again. I have a lot of friends who kill bears on the western side of the Sierras as well, and like the D8, D7, D9 side. On the eastern side, there's a lot of bears. Not as many. It's more open country, but there are bears. Yeah. I know there's some really good bear hunting up in like the Shasta area. So like if I wanted to like target bears specifically, that would be like right below, like above Redding, above Sacramento, right below Oregon. Like there's some beautiful country up there. Yeah, man, we never fill our quotas. Come hunt black bears here. Yeah, for sure.
My brother and I were talking about that. It'd be interesting to hunt in California, perhaps, and if so, I'd probably put black bear on the list.
Yeah,
I don't know. We're coming up on black bear season here in the spring. Most dudes in the office are going to venture northward, myself included, to hit Idaho or Montana or both.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know. I'm just curious.
Change it up, man.
we don't have a spring season.
I'm going north. I don't like going to California. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see one day.
We don't have a spring season. I wouldn't come over to the Sierras target black bear. You're not going to see as many as you're thinking. Like if you want to see a lot of bears, like you're not going to be like Idaho. But if you went to like up the Shasta area, there's more bears up there. It'd be a cool hunt. It really is. I mean, and the Sierras are beautiful. Like I said, so we're going to go hunt that hunt in August. I think it opens up like August 14th. And you're hunting basically right outside of Yosemite National Park. So it's beautiful. You're up at 10 to 12,000 foot elevation, giant cascades, you got the rock formations. It's just, it's incredible. It's the John Muir Trail, so we'll be up there hunting those, and we'll be hunting, deer in August. And then if you wanted to, we have our biggest unit over here is called the A zone.
Okay.
And you can start hunting the A zone for deer in July.
Dang, it's early for what we're accustomed to.
Yeah. So you guys could fly again. I guess you drive from there. You can come in here and go hunt deer for, 4 or 5 days with your bow. Now you don't be planning on hunting. Like the Sierras will be more like what you guys are used to over there. A zone's gonna be a little bit different. It's not gonna be as, much public land as you see over with you guys, but, why not, why not come over here in August and go hunt deer, right? I don't see why you wouldn't want to do it. And the thing with California is we don't like residents and non-residents get the same, it's a true bonus point state. So you guys get the same odds we do. Right. So, I mean, there's a bunch of tags you could draw in August with no points.
I don't know if you're as busy in August as you have been this spring.
I don't know, man. That's part of the decision making. And I'm sure, people listening to the podcast can relate. When August rolls around, followed by September, if you got your long desired or your honey hole states, we'll call it, it's hard to break the mold and say, well, let's venture to California on a whim, basically just to soothe my curiosity. I haven't yet bit the bullet, but maybe one day.
Yeah. I mean, again, you can do it in July too. I mean, whatever. I mean, you also go hunt Hawaii too, which would be awesome for access here. I mean, so like if you're going to go, you've done that?
Man, go ahead.
You've done it?
I'm getting ready to. My wife and I are going to Maui on May 1st to chase some axis deer.
Okay. Yeah, I've got an open invitation to go hunt with some guys over there and do it. And I haven't done it yet, so I want to go over there and do that. I went over to the Big Island. I didn't get to hunt. We were there for 2 weeks, and I ended up getting I was going to hunt for a few days. I got super sick, and I was just with the family. I was like, I'm not going to hunt, whatever. But there's a bunch of opportunity over there to go hunt. I mean, pretty much year round for axis deer or goats. You can do goats, you can do pigs. I mean, you can even do wild cow. I think the wild cow's kind of gone way down on the Big Island, but you can go hunt public land, mouflon sheep and stuff over on the Big Island. And that's a freaking backpacker's, glasser's dream, some of that stuff up there in the high country.
Yeah, my wife and I, we've been married for 19 years now. I think I should have
19 years.
I should have thought more closely on that before I threw that number out.
I'm 18. We got married in 2006. When did you get married? 05?
05, yeah. So tell me, is it 18 for you?
18 for me in June.
Sweet.
June 10th. June 10th.
Good woman. 19 years later, I still owe her a legit honeymoon. So
Oh my gosh.
I know. I spent a lot of time traveling and doing that stuff,
That
So
stuff.
yeah, so we're gonna get over there to Maui first week of May and give it a go. She's excited. I'm excited. Full focus will be on her. Tell me, Drew, should I bring some of the Tricer products that I normally run? Think they are going to work in Hawaii?
100%.
Yeah, dude, I was surprised, man. Looking into that a little bit and trying to get educated on the landscape, dude. That's an arid environment.
Super.
Oh yeah, 100%. Are you guys hunting public land or are you going to a ranch?
We are going to be with, I believe it's Maui Hunting Safaris, if I'm not mistaken.
So you're going to be on a lot of deer. You're going to be on a lot of animals. Are you archery hunting or rifle?
Rifle.
Yeah, you're going to kill some deer. You'll probably be able to kill 2 deer if she wants to.
I'd have to verify. I should verify that. She's the priority shooter. I mean, you know what it's like with kids, man. That she don't get on the mountain as often as she'd like to. So this opportunity is all about her.
And then you got I would just make sure like it was me. Like I don't want to push my stuff too much, but definitely bring that GC gun clamp for her.
I already got it, dude. It's
Yeah,
hard.
that GC gun clamp on an AD with either the BP or the LP is like it's money, man. Like we killed so many animals off of that. My friends, I say that because my prototype came back all red from the red dirt over there because they went to Hawaii and killed 4 axis deer off of it.
Oh, cool.
Standing, prone. We killed a lot of animals off those things last year, and that's something that never leaves my pack now is that GC gun clamp. I actually I really do like the FG as well for me, but for like my kids or like my wife, if my wife was hunting, that GC is just so hard to go away from. Just to lock that rifle in there and have them shoot off of it, it just makes it so simple.
Yeah, gotta have it. My daughter turned 13 last fall, so last fall she went on her first deer hunt, killed her first deer. Your GC wasn't out at the time, so I had a similar system with me. It worked, got the job done. This year she'll have the GC though.
Yeah, it's the GC is it's just a well thought out piece of gear, right? Like this, like I'm very much a perfectionist and like I really like to
Yeah.
I don't want to say over engineer, but overthink things. Like with that thing, like it's like people like, oh, you copied whatever Triclops. I'm like, no, man, like I just made it better, right? Like you look at that, it's smaller. The Arca rail is built into the whole thing. Cause I've had issues with like, the other ones where like they start spinning on you. It's not too big. It's just a really nice piece of gear. And it just works. It's phenomenal. Like I love that gun clamp.
Yeah, I do like the advantage of the one call it tensioning adjustment on the GC as opposed to the other product already said where it had 2 clamps to cam over it. Had to set their adjustment for spread before they cammed over.
Yeah.
It's just one more step. And what I saw last fall with my daughter was, she's in the heat of the moment. Her hands are a little chilly, right? She's trying to keep warm. I'm trying to keep her focused. Every moment, just like every ounce matters. And the GC simplifies that, especially for someone like me with a wife and daughter,
Yeah. I've looked at some of the cam lock stuff. I'm actually working on another panhead right now called the Tricer DZ, and it's going to use a cam lock style for locking into Arca. There's something we said about this, the spinning nut that's just like the spinning knob for locking Arca in that is just, it's going to work. With the cams, you got to make sure the tension is just right. And we had this experience recently, right? Where sometimes Arcas are a little bit different or things are a little bit different, or maybe you go and throw someone else's rifle in there and it's not set up. So then you're in the heat of the moment, you're trying to adjust those cams and do it stuff. It's just something said about just turning that knob and just locking in,
Couldn't agree more.
So simple, keep it simple, stupid is something that goes a far ways in hunting. That's for sure. So
are you gonna run out of letters here soon, or you're making too many
dude,
products?
I've got another tripod, the prototype that showed up at my house right now that I'm working on. And I'm like, what am I going to call this? Like, I don't even, it's like, I don't think it's going to replace the AD and BC. I think it's going to be like a new, like a next level type, this like crazy, it's going to be sick. I don't want to get too much into it because literally I'm just beginning stages of this tripod. I'm like, man, like I'm running out of stuff. I really want to have, because we have like the BC before Christ, the JC Jesus Christ, the AD after death. I really wanted to have like the FG for Father God, but I used FG for my freaking shooting rest. So I'm like, God, what can I call this one? Maybe the HS for Holy Spirit. So maybe I'll have like the Tricer HS. I don't know. A lot of the names, like the new Tricer DZ is for freaking D's nuts. So it's just like I want the industry to know that this stuff comes to me so easily that I'm making jokes about my stuff.
biblical references to these nuts.
Yeah, dude, you got to do it. So like that one came out of deer camp this year because some of them are fun, dude. Like some of them are named after friends. Some of them are have a meaning to them. You know what I mean? BP literally means big pan. What's that?
I hadn't picked up on that with your use of letters and your product naming.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, you'll see it because the JC hasn't come out yet, right? So you'll have BC, JC, AD, and then maybe HS or I guess maybe GF, God the Father. I don't know. So in the tripod line. So it's just I have fun with that stuff, man. Like some of them are just fun, some of them have meaning to me, and some of them are just mean. Like the FG fixed gun rest or field goal because it looks like a field goal, right? It's Y shaped. RG rotating gun rest. GC gun clamp.
Yeah, that's how my mind was orienting.
Yeah.
What's I don't know. Can you say it? What's your anticipated release time frame for the JC?
I'm thinking probably June. It will be in June for sure. I made a couple tweaks to finish it out with the weighted inserts. I made my spikes a little bit longer. That's a crazy tripod. That tripod is going to change the game when it comes to glassing. Like you will not run a BTX or Big Eyes or a 95 millimeter spot without having that tripod. Like it's just the way it is. It's that good. It's rad. It's a game changer. I'm sure the birders are going to like it too, and photographers, but I don't know about those guys yet. So I got to get like a whole different whole division for birding because I don't understand it. I like looking at things and not shooting them. I don't understand it, but they buy a lot of Swarovski. I'll tell you that much. I'm sure they're going to buy a lot of my stuff.
Did you see that AI they integrated in that one of the latest bino models from Swirl?
Yeah, it's sick, dude. It's super cool.
Tell you what bird species you're looking at. I was like, dang.
That's kind of cool, man.
So here's my thing. Like, I'm wondering because I'm wondering because now that I have this like JC coming out, right, and it's got like all this whole micro adjust head, I'm like, man, I easily could like incorporate some sort of like motor into this thing where it can glass for you, right, and you can look at your phone and like look and have it do it. But I'm like, man, at what point is it like too much technology, right? Like, because I'm sure we're gonna have. There's already apps out there where you can put your phone on there and it'll show you the animals moving. Have you seen this? There's like I can't remember the name of it. There's an app where you can put your phone in your spotter and it'll actually show you the animals. So like
before you see them otherwise, right?
It tracks movement.
So how does it differentiate between say moving limbs in a breeze? And,
it just I don't know. It just works. I don't know. It almost like infrared, right? So like you see the stuff Swarovski's doing right now with these new binos, and you're like, man, we're not far off to where everything goes digital, right? Like you look at these like mirrorless cameras and stuff. Like I really feel like we're going to go away from spotting scopes at some point. It'll all be like a digital type camera because it's just so clear and so crisp. Like imagine it'll look like 8K through your spotting scope and it's all digital right there, right? Like why wouldn't we do that? Why can't we do that? And I feel like that's where it's going to go. It has to.
The quality will not be there compared to what your eye can see. And the biggest obstacle is still going to be your glass, right? The lens that you're looking through. So you'd be talking about getting a $15,000 lens that weighs 8 to 10 pounds and like to get that optical clarity.
Maybe. I just saw a meme the other day and it had this guy, he had like a typewriter, a calculator, all this different stuff around him. And it's like, this is all in your pocket now.
But you
know what I mean? Like, dude, like maybe, you know what I mean? Like,
it's true. But the optical challenge is far greater than that. And if you want to go to the next step there, it is then thermals and different types of viewing, not just taking a photo. And obviously there's laws against that in most cases. So I don't think
that's my point with the AI thing is it's like, the next step would be for there to be some sort of AI for finding animals, right? Like, and that's where I think we're going. And it's like, I almost think you need to get ahead of that. Like, cause I don't think I like that. Like, I'm not out here like when they took scopes off muzzleloaders, I wasn't like, no, I was like, good. Right. Yeah. Like, and especially with the way tags are going, like I would rather it be like, dude, never mind. I don't want to go into like long range stuff, but I wouldn't mind somehow putting, like, if they could find a way to like put a limit on like how far you can shoot animals, I would probably support that. So gives you more opportunity, right? More animals living, more animals making it. Because weird Americans are freaking awesome. We find a way to push the limits of everything, right?
Yeah.
right? Like we find a way to like, oh, muzzleloaders. Okay, cool. Next thing you know, we have single shot 600-yard rifles. You know what I mean? And even without that, where you have freaking single shot 500 rifles with open sights, some of these muzzleloaders now, but you almost want to get ahead of it. You know what I mean? Like, how do we get ahead of technology in optics and finding animals and like having it pick things up? Like, if I could somehow have AI like pick up an ear flick from a coos deer, like that's my thing. My jam is coos deer. Like, I'm telling you, I look at a hillside for 6 hours, and all of a sudden a deer stands up, and you're like, where have you been all day?
100%.
You know what I mean? And if there's somehow technology that's like going to catch that movement somehow or catch that animal, like you can't tell me that's far away. And they have a freaking binocular that tells you what birds are.
It's dependent upon whether or not, I suppose, you want to run CCD. Like that technology, we know it exists. It's infrared, right? It's, the company FLIR, for example, you can determine whether or not something's there,
right?
Even if it's masked by terrain to some extent, or at least vegetation. But to just look at a standard image and be able to say locate animals,
that's a tough one. But like he's saying, it could be possible in the next 5 years.
Yeah. Dude, I went to Carl's Jr. the other day. They raised the minimum wage to $20 an hour for restaurants in California.
Oh my God.
I went to Carl's Jr. and it was the whole thing was AI. I mean, like, hello, sir. What would you like? And I'm like, I want a famous star with cheese. Okay, what do you want? And I'm, dude, done.
How was the customer service through AI? Was it favorable?
I don't know, dude. How's the customer service through Carl's Jr.? Favorable?
That's dude, my point.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't. It freaking all worked out. It was great. I mean, it's not like it wasn't bad. I don't know. It's just things are moving so quickly right now. Like, I don't want to go into this whole like crazy like AI podcast, but like, I just see there's going to be things coming to the industry, right? Like you look at some of these scopes now where you just push a button and it's ranging for you.
Yeah.
Some of these swallow scopes, these bird scopes, like, should that be legal? Right? Like, should that be legal? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we should have scopes like that. I think it's dangerous because I think you have people who think that now they're more capable than they are because they're not practicing. But at the same time, should we ban turrets? No. I think they make it more ethical. So I don't know. Like, it's just like, I don't know where I stand on that. Like, I support some things. I don't support other things. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. It really is.
I don't know. Like when you're talking about spotting game, it's pretty simple, I think.
Coos deer being a challenge, obviously, right?
Difficult to spot, but in terms of like what shouldn't be allowed, it's the argument between should you outlaw binos or thermals. It's like obviously thermals should not be allowed. That's an unfair advantage. Is good glass an unfair advantage? Sure, but at some point it's like this is where we draw the line. I mean, hunting with thermals, like when you can see every animal out there, it's not that fun. It's fun for a second, and then you're like, okay, there's nothing here, move on.
I'm biased. I've hunted two-legged creatures with thermals, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, at the same time though, a lot of guys don't have that same mindset. They just want to kill something, right? A lot of guys go out hunting aren't out there because they love the experience, but they want to kill something, right? So if you give somebody the opportunity to like, hey, I could increase your odds by this much, they're going to take it. They're going to do it,
But at the end of the day, that mindset is the problem, right? Or the problem of the ethical.
You could argue it for
argument,
sure,
right? Not that it's wrong, but
I don't know what the right answer is, to be quite honest. It's like you said, if you wanted to limit the range, right? So your max effective range with that 30-06 is going to differ from mine. It could go one way or another, but at some point you have to, we'll say, pass and establish regulations. It's just, I don't envy the people that are involved in that so closely.
No. Gosh, no.
You know how I would regulate long range shooting? I would do it by energy. And that would be how I did it. And that would
there's an argument there for energy, right?
So I would say, and that would kind of like take these Creedmoor guys and these PRC guys out of it. You know what I mean? Like and the 6.5s. I mean, obviously I've killed an elk with a 6.5, like full disclosure. It works. I did it. Took 4 shots. Definitely wouldn't do it again. I've seen it.
Well, my wife killed a one with a 6.5 one shot. It's just, it depends.
Yeah. It would have died. It would have died with all 4. I just got excited. But anyways, it would have died. In hindsight, it was like it was dead on its feet. But they just you shoot them till they die, till they fall down. That's an elk, But if you were to say like a 6.5 Creedmoor, if you were to say for elk, you must have at least 1,500 pounds of energy, and that's the range you can hunt at. But I don't know how you police that then.
Well, that was
But it would force guys to use a bigger caliber.
Yeah.
How could you ever effectively enforce that? Yeah, or like you said, police it.
It would force guys into a bigger caliber, though. Like I mean, like you guys know it well enough that there's no replacement for displacement when it comes to shooting a bull. Like you shoot a bigger 30 caliber, it's a better round. I watched a video this year of a guy shooting a PRC, a 6.5 PRC at 550 yards at an elk, shooting ELDXs, and he shot the bull 8 times. Good, really good. I mean, like you watch him, and it's going in the pump house, and this bull is just absorbing him and just not dying. If it would have been a 300 PRC, different story, guaranteed. That bull would be on his feet.
Yeah.
We get in the weeds on this one.
Yeah.
It's like I said, man, it's a difficult one to hash out accurately.
But you know how you do it? You start by shooting a woodstock 30-06 and talking about it.
Because you run optic accessories so light, you can accept a woodstock, right?
Dude, they're not freaking heavy, dude. Like, I don't know. I carry my normal hunting rifle. Like, I like a 8 to 9 pound rifle, honestly. Like, I'm not a big, like, 6 pound guy, especially if you're long range. Like, if you're a long range shooter, like, dude, get a 9 pound gun. Like, you just shoot more accurately. I mean, you can't tell me they don't. You know, you go try and shoot a 6.5 pound rifle at 600 yards, and you know,
well,
it's just
there's a human variable there, right?
100%.
So
yeah, absolutely, there is. You're gonna have a dude that can shoot more accurately than a 6.5 pound gun than someone that could just say shoot that 9 pound gun.
Yeah,
there is a variable present. How to quantify it? I'm not even proposing that we talk about it.
Yeah,
I don't know where to draw the line in the sand. You know, quite honestly.
Should we ban 6.5s for elk?
Why?
Because freaking people injure elk all the time with them, or injured.
My wife killed one with one shot.
I killed one too. I just feel like given the option, why wouldn't you? I guess if it's the only rifle you have, shoot it. I don't know.
What about wives, children, people that are going to make a better shot with a rifle that they are less afraid of the recoil?
Yeah, that's pretty good about it too.
Right there, you know.
There's something you said about that too. 100%. I agree with that. And I do shoot a 260, which is a 6.5. I mean, but I only shoot it for deer, antelope, coyotes, whatever. I love the cartridge. I just wouldn't be the one I'm pulling out for other animals, bigger animals, right? If I'm going to go on a caribou hunt, it's going to be a 7mm or a 30 caliber. I've just seen it work. I've just seen a 30 caliber. I've seen 7 rem mags take an elk down, and it's a lot more effective. But yeah.
How do you get more effective than one shot and a dead elk?
No, you're right. I saw someone, full disclosure, I saw someone shoot a moose, one shot with a Creedmoor. I saw the video, died. One shot he forgot his, like he had like a 300 Win Mag or something, and I can't remember what happened. Like his scope fell off or something. So the only rifle he had was a 6.5 Creedmoor, and he went over to Utah and he killed a freaking bull moose with a 6.5 Creedmoor, like 200 yards, one shot, one kill. Thing went 30 yards and died. Right?
Yeah. Coming full circle back to what I was trying to suggest is I really don't know how to quantify that, and I don't necessarily have a suggestion to propose. It's a difficult one, man. It's easier to talk about gear such as tripods,
yes,
or boots,
100%,
or synthetic versus down insulation. When you get into weaponry, yeah, you could chat that till the sun comes up tomorrow, and at the end of that discussion, I don't know. Sometimes there's not ground made. It's difficult.
I feel like you could maybe get away with, so the same can be said for archery, right? So like you can be like, we kill them with a stick and string, then we're going to limit Creedmoors. I think a Creedmoor is way more effective than a bow.
If it ain't, it comes back to the human variable.
Yes, it should be more effective than a bow. But like maybe we say, hey, you need to use, and maybe this is my personal opinion. This is my experiences. Like I feel like we're in this stage where everyone wants to use like match bullets that explode, right? Versus using like a more solid core bullet that's going to penetrate and go deeper. Maybe, but again, I don't like government regulation either. So I don't know. Like, I don't want to tell people they have to use a AccuBond or use a ELDX or a copper bullet because it's going to penetrate more than using a ELDM. But I don't know why you're ever going to pick an ELDM up over a ELDX, right?
I feel like those
availability.
That should be a social influence thing instead of a law.
Yeah,
Yeah, but socially, it's like getting pushed by so many of these companies. Like, oh yeah, we shoot match grade bullets at 800, 1,200 yards. And these guys are going out there and doing it, and you're injuring animals.
Right.
You're not getting the penetration. I mean, there's something to be said about shooting a solid core bullet that's going to go through that animal, and do damage, not explode in the shoulder. Injure them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Flip side is like Jared's mule deer hunt. He shot at 200 yards with a solid core bullet and went straight through the deer, and the deer ran for another hour.
Yeah.
And he made a shot just right near the heart. It didn't hit the heart, but he was just too close. I think the velocity was too high. We're not entirely sure.
Well, he was probably shooting what was he shooting?
I think it was a 300 PRC.
300 PRC.
The 300 up there?
I thought so. That new one from SIG.
I
forget what caliber that was.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Yeah. Oh, the 28 nozzlers, people run into that problem a lot too, right? It's just almost too fast, right? And then you're ripping right through them, and you're not getting expansion. Or your bullet's exploding too. If you're shooting like an ELDM and just going that fast, it's not even going to penetrate at all. It's just going to explode almost on impact. So you almost want to have that, like that. Those guns are made for shooting past 300 yards. I mean, those things are flying. So
I think the only known constant in what we're kind of beating around the bush is that for the majority, people look to the weapon system and the technology they're in to solve their problems as an individual shooter.
Yes.
Hit the range, get the range time in, get the reps, get the iterations, get the proficiency. And as we live busier and busier lives, either they just don't want to, or in some cases they really can't. They have, unfortunately, higher priorities, providing and such. But again, as we get further and further to the right in time, people look to technology to compensate for their inadequacies, right? In this case, shooter proficiency. And then they want to roll out on a hunt, and some of those variables we just discussed may not matter because the dude or the gal at hand can't hit the target to begin with,
Yep.
And if the wind shifts and wind drift brings that bullet on target, well, then it's probably a bad hit, and we're getting into the realm of what we're beating around the bush out of, impact, and how effective a given caliber and a given bullet therein might be.
Yeah, these are the things that get.
I don't know what you do in San Diego. Can you guys get out and shoot often? I bet you probably could, BLM land and such, right?
Yeah, we have BLM. What I would do here to shoot long range is I would drop down in the desert. We can shoot out to, freaking 1,500 yards. I got some spots down there on Onyx. Just go down there and shoot. We have some local mountains we can shoot. But other than that, 100-yard ranges, we have a couple outdoor ranges like to 300 yards. They really shut down all the public land to shooting. Like you can't shoot on any of the public land, only on the BLM land. And the BLM stuff even shuts down come probably June. I think it shuts down because it's just, we have so many fires out here, in California.
No, I can understand that. Here in southern Utah, I mean, we can go shoot 1,000 yards in a 15-minute drive or less from the office,
Yeah. And I would argue, to your point, the vast majority of dudes going out in the field, a lot of them are just picking up their freaking rifle before they go.
That's the same thing with archery.
Same thing with archery. Picking up their bow, and they have them shooting their bow. I mean, I try and shoot 12 to 20 arrows a day is my goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said, I haven't killed a bull, my bow, but I will this year. But I know that when I get to that point, it's not going to be, I don't want to miss because I just, I went out and bought the $2,500 bow tech, and it's expected it to hit the elk. You know what I mean? The dude's, the one in the end that's going to make it happen.
Yeah. A lot of people just look to technology to solve problems that could be solved otherwise.
Yep. Well, let's end with a hunting story. Who wants to tell me a good hunting story? I got to get to, I have a kids versus parents soccer game here in 30 minutes. So I got to get out of here. So let's,
better start stretching right now, old man.
Oh yeah. Well, I hiked this morning, went to the gym. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm planning on laying some kids out. So
He's gonna lay some good stuff.
I'm planning on bringing the pain to these 10-year-olds, dude. So they're about to get it. They're about to get got.
Got to learn somehow. Life's tough.
I mean, it's a girl sport anyways. Probably wear a dress. I don't know. Soccer. I mean, come on.
Girl sport.
I don't know how my wife talked me to let my kid play that sport. Whatever. But they have fun.
That's funny. You got any good memories from filming the Hunting Fool crew? Is there anything that stands out with?
Not so much this year. This year was a bunch of tears and sadness. What about yourself?
No. Everything's pretty straightforward. I mean, Brady knows me pretty well. I'm kind of a boring guy. I'm all business. When I'm on the mountain, I'm rather calculated, more so than just winging it, and being calculated by nature doesn't always create the best stories.
That's very true.
You know what I mean? But I'd venture to say there was something to be seen with Isaiah in the least.
Yeah. That
what about Moose last year?
Yeah. No, that was fun. It was let's see, it was Isaiah, Jonah, and his brother Caleb. Caleb's down in Tucson. They flew up to Iliamna is where we flew into finally, and then got dropped off on a lake north of there via
This is Alaska?
Yes.
Okay.
We got there, and Isaiah had communicated with a couple guys and done a lot of e-scouting himself because we weren't going guided or anything. And we're thinking, all right, with where this lake is located, it's going to be pristine, no one around. We fly over, and we're like an hour, we're about an hour away from where the float plane took off from, and he's hitting that half tank on fuel. It's like, all right, man, you're either going here or you're going somewhere between here and home. And we see, I think, one camp, one cabin, and a float trip guy.
And you think you're going full remote?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because all the lakes we passed coming up there were like empty, and we realized that the camp was an old cabin. The cabin had someone in it, and then the float trip guy was going down the river. So we're like, you know what? We'll do it. There's only one other guy that's going to be sharing the lake with us. We land, blow up our boat, spend a day cruising around, kind of exploring, see no moose sign, and hear like 15 airplanes flying overhead. And it was like that every day. And we later learned that was a main thoroughfare between the west side of the Alaska Range, or the southern Alaska Range, basically, at Anchorage. Okay. So they're running all the outfitters that are over there flying out of Anchorage. Is just planes flying through all the time. People land on the lake.
So was all the air traffic hunter based?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. I interpreted that wrong.
Guys would circle, and we assume there's lodges out past us.
I can only imagine Isaiah was getting upset.
Oh, come day 4, he's on the inReach talking about what it costs to get relocated. And because we found this nice little knob to sit on, but moose hunting is not quite what we thought it'd be. We couldn't get our boat up or down the inlet or outlet rivers.
So you guys are just stuck.
Literally sat on a knob and looked over a little swamp for 10 days. And that 10 days yielded 2 beautiful moose by the grace of God.
But how big was Joners? 67, I think, right? And it had that little
smokes.
It was 65. His brother's was 67.
Caleb's was 67, right?
Yeah.
But Joners had that little drop tine kind of formation on the one paddle.
Yeah.
It was a killer moose, man.
Oh, it was sweet. That was the last day too.
Oh,
so dude. But that morning we woke up. I told you earlier, this year was full of tears. Jared, our CEO, his father passed away. And we wake up to that inReach message on the last day of our hunt, day 10 or 11, I think.
Arizona?
No. What
is this? Arizona elk?
No, we're still up there in Alaska.
Oh, my bad. Gotcha.
Yeah, Isaiah gets the inReach. And Isaiah was close with him, so that morning we're all crying a little bit. It's frosty, beautiful, calm. And we go up to sit on our last day. Isaiah thinks he's about to go home without a moose on a hunt that he's dreamt about for his lifetime, And sure enough, come about 10 o'clock in the morning, this big old bruiser of a bull comes walking out the opposite shoreline. For some reason, he walked out into the lake, and we ran down full throttle, like just ripping across the beach. It's foggy. You can't see the moose. You were talking about long-range weapons.
Oh, man.
He's shooting. Well, I guess this is an example of when the right equipment matters, and when long range shooting, there is no other option to get closer. This moose is on the opposite side of the lake, and it's foggy out. He can't get a range on it. This is the last day. Like, there's no other option. We're either killing this moose or we're going out of there empty-handed. He sets up on the beach and tries to range, can't really get anything, guesses it, takes a shot, and it's low, takes another shot, and it's high, takes a third shot and drills him. I think it's like 750 yards or something.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
geez.
It was a long ways, but I mean, he made great shots. It was just dead calm, no wind. Moose turns around, starts going back, and he eventually drops him right in 3.5 feet of water.
Oh, I'm sure that's a challenge.
And all of this, we still don't know exactly what the moose is. So you were saying it's got a drop time. We didn't know that at the time. We saw him. We were like, okay, he's legal. He's over 50 inches. We're going. And had to run through a bunch of brush down the beach, etc. We get up there with the boat, a little dinghy, and you see the smaller end of a paddle sticking up out of the water. And first off, if it's under 50 inches wide, it's not legal. And we're second guessing ourselves a little bit. We're like, no, we that was for sure the same moose. It had to be. It was for sure wide enough. There's only so much you can do before the shot, and we had done our due diligence. Isaiah gets in the water and slowly pulls up the rack, and all of a sudden it's just like these gnarly old tines come sticking
cool,
up,
man.
and as it comes up, you see the drop tine coming down, and yeah, that was probably the highlight of the whole year.
On the last day?
Last day, yeah, we literally, weather was coming in, so we hooked the moose up to the boat. Isaiah and his brother both had chest waders on, so they're helping drag it. I got that little, I think it was a 15 horse outboard, just cranked, trying to drag this moose across the shallow lake back to our camp, which is, I don't know, a quarter mile or something, maybe not quite. Drag it up onto the beach, which was an incredible struggle with 3 guys, one full-size soaking wet moose. Butcher it, get it all cut up into game bags. By the time we were done, the beaver had landed because he's like, hey, man, we need to get you out now. Weather's coming in. It's going to be days before we can get you out again. We're out of food. So the beaver lands, takes the moose, goes back, comes back for us. 2 hours later, we got camp packed up. It's like 1.5 foot chop, probably.
Oh, on floats.
No, so Caleb and I are holding the plane off of the shore because it's rocky, and Jonah's just ripping trips back and forth, and you just see the wind coming out of the canyon ahead of us, and the water's getting darker and darker and darker. And Isaiah was the last one holding the plane. He fired up the engine, the pilot did, and Isaiah's in the water still while the engine's running. Pilot puts it under power, and Isaiah then climbs up onto the float. And he said for some reason he wasn't expecting it to be windy.
Yeah, prop on an aircraft.
Oh, no.
Beaver is pushing into like sustained 20-mile-an-hour winds, and Isaiah's over there on the outside of the plane just trying to get into the co-pilot seat.
I bet you didn't even care though. You got moose in your future there, Drew?
Dude, moose is high on the list. I want to go bad. I want to do a float trip for him.
Float trip would be cool.
Now that I'm going full-time Tricer, I'm going to have the time to do some of these hunts that I've wanted to do. So, yeah, he's going to figure it out, man. It's on the list for sure. Maybe in 2025 for sure.
Before you go, give us a call, because a lot of the guys in the office have done just about every type of moose hunt there is. So
yeah, 3 dudes on the team killed 3 moose in Alaska, 3 different places last year.
Jeez. Yeah, I want to do it, man. There's a few of them on the list. I definitely want to get the elk in my bow this year. It's definitely high on the list. I mean, coming from San Diego, we don't have, like, if I want to kill an elk, I got to go far, right? Like, we don't have elk. You know what I mean? Like, we have some very crappy deer hunting in San Diego. We have like a 6% success rate or something like that in San Diego, and that includes public or private land. It's a tough hunt to kill over here. So, yeah, we're just figuring it out. I've got elk on the list for sure this year. I'm applying everywhere. I should be in New Mexico this year for a muzzleloader deer hunt. I'm pretty sure on that one. Hopefully my kids draw a tag over there as well. Hopefully I get lucky in New Mexico on, an oryx or something. That'd be cool too. I'm definitely going to Sonora. I'll definitely be hunting archery in Arizona.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. So I got a lot of stuff on the things, dude. But that was an awesome podcast, man. We ran along. We normally go an hour. You guys went an hour and a half. I guess double the people, double the podcast.
Yeah.
Give me the spiel for Hunting Full. Where we find you guys, where we get our gear at, or Gearful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so if you got any questions pertaining to gear, check us out, gearful.com, contacting us through the page there. We got a small team, Brady, myself, and really one other. And it's a personal, effort to try and take care of anyone who reaches out, getting them the right gear for the trip at hand, because tags are hard to get, man.
They are.
You got to make the most of every opportunity you get when you're in the field. So, yeah, gearful.com. And
check out our YouTube channel, too. Same, Gearful YouTube, but we're working on some pretty awesome comparisons coming this spring, so there'll be some good content coming out.
Sweet. All right, thanks, guys. Let's do it again.
All right, brother.
Absolutely.
See you.
Thank you.